Hey, mahal everyone! Welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I'm your host 40 and we are back with another video on the Alchemist code. In this video, we're doing another character spotlight, and this time it's gonna be on everyone's favorite waifu who is currently featured on the summoning banner, Shayna. Now before we get into the character spotlight for Shayna, I do want to remind you guys I still have my 1500 subscriber goal milestone giveaway, which I'll always be posting the link to that video on all of my videos, you know, from now all the way up until January 1st when I announce the winner. So guys, be sure to check that giveaway and enter because the prize that I'm giving out is really cool. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Shayna and why she is everyone's favorite waifu, and what are my thoughts on the character, you know, after using her all this time, for the last few days that I've been using her. So, like how we begin every single character spotlight, we want to take a look at the flavor of the character. So we have here Shayna. She's from Invilia. Okay, this is her height, weight, birthday September 17th. There's her blood type. Her zodiac is Moon of the Ice Water Wolf. She likes her own ability, and her hobbies are research into looking pretty from the right angle. Okay, so she's kind of a narcissist a little bit. She kind of reminds me a little bit of, if you guys remember Lily from Tekken, she's kind of like that, at least from what I'm reading here. So, it says right here, Shayna was born in Invilia as part of a bloodline of prominent martial artists. Thanks to her specialized education and innate talents, her abilities grew into a reckonable force. She's been active integrating beauty and cuteness into her martial arts, and this has turned her into a celebrity in the world of martial arts. Very cool, and yes, as you can tell by the design, she is very glamorous, she's very flashy, so she's definitely a cool character, and I know a lot of people have been wanting to pull for her, so congrats if you pulled her. So now we're going to take a look at her range. So her range is standard melee range. Now this will change depending on the class that you have her as. Currently I have her as Holy Brawler. So as a Holy Brawler, her range is going to be 0 to 1. If you change her to Dragon Knight, which is her class 2 or job 2, it's going to extend by 1 space. And then if you change her to job 3, it goes back into a regular melee range. Now, looking at her stats, she is quite good. She has a lot of HP, she has really good physical attack, really good physical defense, magic attack, not too good, but the thing is, like, that's not what makes her shine. She is a martial artist after all. Her magical defense too isn't the greatest, but it's not bad. Her dexterity is not bad either. You know, she's gonna be hitting a lot and dealing a lot of damage. She has really good agility, fairly good crit, pretty good luck, and combo is based on the amount of times you've limit broken a character, and she has pretty good move and jump. So straight out of the box, she's pretty amazing. Now, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at her different jobs. So right out of the box, job 1, she gets Holy Brawler, which by far is amazing because Holy Brawler for other units that are currently available are only available to them at job 3, and she gets this very powerful class at job 1. Now we're going to take a look at the abilities that the Holy Brawler brings. So first we have Fist. So Fist, we have access to Focus Palm, which inflicts physical damage. It has a chance of inflicting Paralyze. It has a range 1 and height 1, so it has the same range as a standard melee attack. She has Palm Shockwave, which only inflicts physical damage. There's no added effect, but it has a range of 3 and a height of 1. So it has 2 extra range compared to Focus Palm. Exploding Palm inflicts physical damage weak, and it reduces the enemy's counter turn by half. So what this does is it sets the enemy's turn back farther, so they take their turn later. This one has a range of 1, a scope of 3 lateral, and a height range of 1. Void Strike is physical damage weak plus death sentence, and the range on that is the same as a melee attack. Divine Battle Trance is physical damage weak plus daze and bind, so it inflicts 2 different status ailments, or potentially 2, and it has the same range again as a melee attack. And then her final move on Fist is Supreme Battle Trance, which inflicts physical damage strong, and it also has an added effect that it is strong against human enemies. So likely when you use this skill against a human target, it's going to be dealing a massive amount of damage. if it's not KOing them, it's likely to leave them close to being KO'd. So pretty good skill set there, along with Fist. Now, if we look at Basic Fist, which is her secondary skills, she has access to Steel Fist, which inflicts physical damage, weak, and chance of inflicting stun, and this one has the same range as a melee attack. Blinding Thrust has the exact same range, but this time it's inflicting damage and chance to inflict blind. Sharpening Focus triples her own physical attack for 1 turn, so she already has massive attack, but now she's tripling it. So after you do that, the next hit that you land is likely to KO your opponent. Hardening Focus raises her own physical defense, so provides her a little bit of survivability. Controlling Focus removes all statuses inflicted on self, so that's amazing, because if you have a status inflicted on you, as long as it's not Stop, or Sleep, or Charm, because those take away control of the character from you, this is great for healing all of the status inflicted on yourself. And then Whirlwind Kick is the last ability from Basic Fist, so it inflicts physical damage weak on units within target area. So this is actually a really good ability, because for most melee characters, when you're unable to like reach the enemy, you know, at that melee range, you generally aren't usually able to do anything, but with this, and also it has a low jewel cost, you can like move to their side or move to their back, and if you're not quite near their melee range but you're close enough, you could deal damage to them with Whirlwind Kick. Okay, now we're going to move on to the passives that this job offers. So first we have Iron Body. Now Iron Body raises her max HP, which again is great because it gives her that awesome survivability. And she also has Strike Mastery +2, which is a physical attack modifier for strike attack types. So Holy Brawlers use strike attacks, so this will modify that, and in a sense, it allows you to deal more damage with strike attacks. And then she gets Guts, which Guts increases the chance of surviving fatal damage. So pretty good. Again, it helps with her survivability, but I feel like with her other passives are a lot more useful, because Shayna in herself already has a lot of HP, and she has enough defense to last much longer than other units in the game. And then her reactive ability is Cross Counter, which Cross Counter performs physical counter when receiving damage. It has a range of 1 and a height range of 1, so it's essentially a melee attack, but the cool thing about this is it's not a chance to counter. It is a guaranteed chance to counter if she is hit within melee range. So if you're getting hit by a ranged attack, unfortunately she's not going to counter. But let's say like you're hit by a unit, like, you know, with a regular melee attack, a standard range melee attack, she's going to automatically counter. So it's really, really good because it is guaranteed. You don't have to worry about it not going off or hoping for it to go off. It's just going to go off. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to her second class, which is Dragon Knight. Now, when we move on to Dragon Knight, we can see that it gives her a boost in luck, dexterity, magic defense, and magical attack, but at the cost of lowering the other stats right over there. So she loses a little bit of move. She definitely loses some agility, so she's not as fast. She won't be taking her turns as often as a Holy Brawler in Dragon Knight, and she looks like she won't even be dealing as much damage. Now, if we look at the abilities that the Dragon Knight offers, we're going to go ahead and look at Dragon. So with Dragon Knight, she gets Dragon Breath, which inflicts fire damage weak. It has a range 1, scope 3 lateral, and height range 2, so it has a little bit of range on there. It is a little bit expensive. It's 24 jewels. She has Magic Sealing Spear, which inflicts physical damage weak. It's penetrating, and it can inflict silence. It has a range of 2, scope 1 square line, and a height range 2. She also gets Magic Breaking Spear, which, wow, destroys enemy jewels, and it adds penetrating. So this is also a range 2, scope 1 line, height range 2. And then she has Dragon Slayer, which inflicts physical damage, penetrating, has a range of 3, scope 1 square line, and height range 2. So I believe penetrating is defense ignore. However, if I'm wrong on that, please comment on the comment section below just to clarify what that is. But the way that I read it, you know, if I see the word penetrating, essentially I'm thinking defense ignore. Okay, and then with the Dragon Knight, she also gets access to Basic Dragon. So Basic Dragon gives her the different levels of jump. Now, what is jump? For those of you that have played like Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy Tactics, and you're familiar with the Dragoon class, well, this is the exact same thing. Essentially, what Shayna will do is you target your enemy, she'll jump in the air, and then after a certain amount of turns, she'll land on them and usually dealing a pretty significant amount of damage. I know in Final Fantasy Tactics the damage is doubled. However, in this game, I'm not sure if the damage is doubled. I believe it's still the same as your regular your regular melee attack. I'm not sure what the modifier is. So guys, if you know what the modifier is on the jump damage, you can definitely post that in the comment section below. So you can definitely add, to all the information about jump. So she gets access to jump level 1 all the way to level 5. And as we see here, each level of jump increases its range. Now, jump level 1 is the lowest. It has range 2, height range 1, whereas all the way up to jump level 5, she gets range 4, height range 4. So the range increases with each level of jump. So this is pretty cool. It's also, what's cool about jump is it allows Shayna to also escape from harm's way. So let's say you're being targeted by like a mage, and then your turn comes up, you can jump, and hopefully you can avoid that damage since you're essentially still in the air. Now, with the Dragon Knight, she has access to Jumper, which is a passive ability, which is an attack modifier for jump attack type. So if you like using the jump attacks, this is one way to modify the damage, so it increases the damage you deal with the jump attack types. And then her reactive ability from Dragon Knight is HP drain +1. So she absorbs part of damage back as HP when damage is received from an adjacent enemy, meaning an enemy that's, adjacent from her. So pretty good, gives her a little bit of survivability. What's cool about this one is it's not like cross counter where they need to be directly close to you. They just need to be adjacent from you. Okay, now we are going to move on to her last class, which is Chronomancer. I don't have this class unlocked for her, so sorry about that, guys. But we do have other Chronomancers, so we're going to move to a Chronomancer just so we can see the abilities that Shayna will get when she unlocks that job. So we're going to take a look at Rahu, since Rahu gets Chronomancer right off the bat. So Chronomancer is essentially like a time mage. It's pretty much almost the exact same thing, if not the same thing. So if you guys are familiar with time mage from Final Fantasy, that's what the Chronomancer is. So giving Shayna Chronomancer gives her access to Chronomancy, which gives her access to the skills Bind. So this inflicts magic damage weak and inflicts Stop. So this has a range of 3 and a height range 1. Then she gets access to Overclock, which is by far one of the best skills the Chronomancer has to offer, and quite possibly one of the best skills in the game. So what this does is it allows the target that you use this on, whether it's on yourself or your ally, to take their turn immediately. Now, this definitely shines in PvP. I can't tell you how many times I actually lost to a team where the enemy team had a unit with the Chronomancer, and they're just overclocking all the other units, and they're taking their turn before me. This is an amazing ability. Switch swaps positions with the target, so this is pretty nifty. You can switch positions with the target if you're trying to change targets. And then Black Hole is the final ability where it inflicts magic damage strong, it inflicts Stop, and it reduces the enemy's counter turn to 0. Very powerful ability. If you guys watched my video on the solo challenge on the Lizards of the Lost Kingdom Hard, I explained why Rahu, the enemy Rahu, is the unit that you need to watch out for, because if you're within her range and she casts Black Hole on you, you lose control of that character for a certain amount of time, and it's not a good thing to get hit by, but it's a very powerful spell if you use it yourself. Now, when Shayna also gets Chronomancer, she gets access to basic Chronomancy. So she gets Phantom Vision, which inflicts blind status on the target with a range of 3 and height range of 2. She gets access to Quicken, another amazing spell. So Quicken, think of it as like haste. So in Final Fantasy, the spell haste, when cast on an ally or yourself, it allows you to take your turns faster because you're essentially moving faster through time. So that's exactly what Quicken does. Okay, it has a range of 3, height range of 1. Delay is essentially the same thing as slow from Final Fantasy. The unit will take their turns a lot more slowly compared to the other units, so it's very useful. And then Freeze is the same thing as Stop, because like it says right there, it inflicts the Stop status on the target, rendering them useless for several turns since they won't be able to move. Now with Chronomancy, Shayna will have access to 2 passives. One is Clock Resist, which nullifies all counter-turn related statuses. So this is very useful. So just in case you're worried about getting stopped, you can slap this on Shayna should you unlock her Job 3 Chronomancer. And she gets Time Leap, which raises the skill use count. Now, I believe this means if you have this passive, normally most units with their abilities, they can only use each ability up to 3 times per battle. However, having this passive raises that skill use count. Again, if I'm wrong on that, please correct me in the comment section below. I was trying to figure out what this meant, and I'm pretty sure that's what it means. And then the reactive ability is counter delay, so when you receive damage, you have a chance of inflicting delay, which is essentially slow on attacking unit for 1 turn. So if you take some damage and you survive, you have a chance to counter and inflict slow on that unit. So we're going to go ahead and go back to Shayna, since I just wanted to show you guys what Chronomancer gives Shayna. So what are my overall thoughts about Shayna? She is amazing. If you guys pull one of her, Job 1, Holy Brawler, you're already set pretty much. Holy Brawler is a very, very powerful class. It is essentially the upgraded version of Martial Artist. It deals a lot of damage, has a lot of survivability, has a lot of HP, is also very fast. So she is definitely a unit worth pulling for. Now her other classes, Dragon Knight, again, is also a really good class. Not as good as, I would say it's probably her least picked class. It deals a good amount of damage and it has that nifty use with jump, so you can avoid getting hit by, let's say, like a magic spell. Still not as good as Holy Brawler, but then again, if you want to try a different setup with Shayna, Dragon Knight is another way to go. And Chronomancer, as we all knew it, best support unit in the game. Yes, it does lack a little bit of healing, but the ability to be able to manipulate, you know, with how many turns you take, or slowing the enemy down, or putting them on stop, is just something that no other job right now currently offers. Now, what's the recommended setup for her? Well, I know there's one that's recommended normally whenever these units are first introduced, and the one that I have right now on my Shayna is I have essentially everything that's coming from Holy Brawlers. So I have Fist, Basic Fist, Cross Counter, Iron Body, and Strike Mastery +2. So this setup is essentially, I would say it's actually really good for mainly for PvE. For PvP, I would probably run basic Chronomancy. The reason being is I want to run that as a Holy Brawler on the secondary set, so then that way in PvP your Shayna is also casting Quicken on all of your units, so then all of your units essentially have haste. So that's great support, and she's still able to dish out that massive damage. Now you can also try other things. You can also try the reactive ability from Dragon Knight if you want to be able to absorb some HP after getting dealt some damage from an adjacent unit, or you could even try out the reactive ability from Chronomancer, which inflicts slow on the opponent when they deal damage to you. So there's so many ways to build Shayna. Right now, this is how I have her built, but if I unlock Chronomancer, I might slap on that basic Chronomancy, and I might even try using the jump abilities from the Dragon Knight as a Holy Brawler, so that way she has a way to avoid danger. Overall, she's a great character. To me, she's very versatile, and if you guys manage to pull even just one of her, you're essentially set for a while as far as like a hard-hitting water unit, because she is that amazing. And as we all know, with the upcoming winter event on Thursday, we're gonna have access to some really cool skins for her. So guys, if you have Shayna, get ready, you know, save up your gems, and hopefully you guys are gonna be buying those skins, because she is definitely a character worth investing for. Alright guys, so that's going to be my video today on our favorite waifu Shayna. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Guys, I just want to let you guys know, as a YouTube content creator, I'm always, looking for tips on how to improve, or, some constructive criticism. So if you guys have any comments for me that you want to leave me to, to help me out to produce better content for you guys, I'd really appreciate that. I'm still new to this. I started this channel in July, and honestly, I'm having a lot of fun just making content for you guys. But then again, I always want to improve. So any tips or advice, just let me know on the comment section below. Anyways, again, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Alchemist code content. Sorry, I'm just so excited. Anyways, thank you for watching my video. My name is 40, the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal, everyone.